And President Biden's approval number sinking to a new low. According to a new Gallup poll, just 43% of voters approve of the job he's done so far. That's down 6 percentage points since August and 14 points lower than when he took office. This also marks the first time a majority at 53% gives him negative marks. Let's bring in Karl Rove. And that Gallup poll, Karl, took place over a long period of time, like about, I think, 3 weeks or so. And a lot has happened. I mean, August was a terrible month, and September has not been better, Karl.
Not been better at all. And the numbers among independents are pretty revealing. The president's job approval among independents in the Gallup poll is 37%. The 43% overall is the third lowest of the last 4 presidents. Only Donald Trump, who had a 37% approval at this point, is lower. But it's 37% approval for Biden among independents. That's down 24 points from where he began in January. Think about that. In fact, what's interesting to me is if you look at it, about 8% of that decline took place between February to June, 5 months, and then 16 points in the last 3 months, which suggests that this number among independents and therefore the overall number is going to continue to decline until something dramatic happens that causes these numbers to stop and to begin to rebound. And we certainly haven't seen any of that in September.
While you're talking about numbers, Karl, I wanted to put these Iowa numbers on. These are the approval numbers in Iowa, and they really are fairly stunning. 31% approval for President Biden, 62% disapproval there. And followed that up with the pollster, the respected pollster, Jay Ann Selzer, saying, quoting, "This is a bad poll for Joe Biden, and it's playing out in everything he touches right now." And that's the truth. Everything they attempt kind of comes crumbling down, and yet there are no fall guys. Nobody's being punished for any of this.
Yeah, nobody's being held responsible. The Selzer poll is a nonpartisan poll run by the Des Moines Register, very well respected. This was a battleground state in 2020 that Joe Biden lost, but this portends very bad for the Democrats in 2022 because this is a state with competitive congressional races, a U.S. Senate race, and a governor's race. And what this means is Democrats are going to be laboring against a very heavy weight at the top of their ticket in the form of low numbers for President Biden. And you're right, nothing has happened in recent weeks. Not the Afghan withdrawal, the situation with COVID, the international scene at the United Nations, the battle over the budget and the battle over the spending bill and the battle over the tax bill and the battle over the debt ceiling. None of these things have worked to the president's advantage, and he desperately needs to turn things around, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen particularly soon.
Karl, I ate up your column today. It was called Kevin Brady's Charge on Tax Hike Hill. I just want to quote from it, saying that Mr. Brady gave his GOP colleagues plenty of ammunition to attack the Democrats' gigantic tax increase. Now it's up to Republican members to set their sights on the vulnerable points and make a sustained push to convince swing voters. It will be a long fight, and this is only the opening skirmish. Next up is a massive spending blowout Democrats have planned for these revenues on. What I really thought that you did through Kevin Brady's research is to say these are the types of taxes that are going to go up. These are the type of people that are going to have to pay them. And this is the type of spending that they want to do.
Yeah, Congressman Brady gave his colleagues on Tuesday morning 3 documents, 7 pages in total. I got my hands on them. Really well done. And he laid out themes in one of them, he laid out specifics in another, and he laid out the advantages of making these cases in the third. I thought it was really well done. I hope his fellow colleagues in the House Republican Conference pay attention to it, but only a sustained national effort to make these points. Even in safe Republican districts, it's critical that the members go out and make these points so the American people get educated, because the national media is not going to give the detail and not going to unveil some of the secrets behind this. For example, the Joint Committee on Taxation says 75% of the cost of the corporate tax increase is going to be paid by working people in the form of lower wages and lower benefits. And that's backed up by a left-wing think tank, the Tax Policy Center, that says by the end of the decade, as much as 95% of the cost of this will be borne by middle and lower income taxpayers in the form of lower wages, and lower benefits. So Brady made an excellent case about how this is bad for America's international competitiveness, why it's bad for small business, why it's bad for ordinary Americans. I mean, our utility bills are going to be higher and our gas bills are going to be higher because there are huge new taxes on hydrocarbons in this bill, all designed to make us move away from hydrocarbons, but instead we're just going to be importing oil and gas from countries that don't have the same exacting environmental standards we have.
There's a lot there. Everyone read Karl Rove's column, and Karl, thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
And Trace, this could have some really big implications for the 2022 midterms. And they're already recruiting for and raising money for those midterms. And the Democrats, I think, are getting a little nervous about holding on to power. Yeah,
and I read a couple of articles today where people pointed out saying, you know, of all the things that are going on right now with COVID, with the inflation, with the border thing, they still believe that Afghanistan is really one of the big issues that will play into this again in 2022.
Well, send those to me.
We'll see.